Hi, you guys. This is Courtney from Willow's Bloom, and today we're going to be talking about the new moon in Cancer that's happening on July 9th at 18 degrees of Cancer. So, really quick before I jump into the chart, the overall explanation, I did want to mention that I have a new membership called the North Node Society, and I basically have a whole astrology course that is worth hundreds of dollars just sitting there for you, easy access, just $20 a month. And it's so much more than just an astrology course. Not only can you dive into your chart and learn about where this moon is going to affect you personally and how that might look in your life, but you'll also have live group classes with people where I go over other topics around astrology. We also have a therapist. I say that in quotes because she's not a therapist, but there's some kind of like counseling service that we do. Again, I don't want to say counseling because I'm not like legally allowed to have therapy or counseling. It's something along those lines. It's kind of like coaching, like spiritual coaching, let's say. So we have a spiritual coach come on each month. We have breathwork classes, yoga. There's so many different things that are offered in this membership, and I really hope that you'd be interested in joining. So if so, there's a link below, and I'll see you guys there. Okay, so we're gonna go over the new moon for all of the zodiac signs, but first we're gonna start off with the overview. So, like I said, this moon is happening at 18 degrees of Cancer, which means that if you have a planet at around plus or minus 5 degrees, 18 degrees of Cancer, then you are going to be strongly affected by this. So, this is what I see time and time again with my friends. For the people that don't have this aspecting any of their personal planets, sometimes these moons come and go and they're just felt a little bit energetically, but nothing in their life happens. Other times, when it hits a personal planet by some kind of aspect, square, opposition, sextile, trine, or conjunction, you are going to have something in your life alter, change, manifest, or dissolve away. And new moons are specifically about building something up. So if this is hitting your personal chart, which again, you can find out by joining the membership and taking the course. But yeah, if this is hitting your chart, you'll notice that some new beginnings are being planted, some new seeds are being planted at this time. And it's going to be another 6 months for the next full moon in Cancer when you start to see some ripe fruit coming as a result of the actions and things that are happening in your life right now. If you've watched my videos before, then you know I love to use tarot and oracle cards along with the astrology messages because I just feel like they're so intertwined. So I'm definitely going to be using those today to kind of describe this moon. So, what is a new moon in Cancer about? Well, what I think is it's a lot about new emotional beginnings. Cancer is about us allowing ourselves to feel, allowing ourselves to nurture and mother ourselves, especially because this new moon is making a square to Chiron, which is an asteroid in the sky that has a lot to do with our healing process. And a square is a harsh angle that's indicating that this healing is coming off the back of a challenging situation. And because leading up to this point in time, Venus was opposing Pluto, a lot of those challenging situations are likely regarding our finances, our self worth, or our relationships, our intimate partnerships with people. And so, this healing that's happening is really going to be around some of those issues. And it's probably going to feel like a band aid is being ripped off so that the skin underneath can finally get a fresh breath of air. And so that's kind of what I see this new moon as being. I don't think it's going to be the most comfortable new moon, but there are good solutions happening. And what I mean by that is that this new moon is also making a positive angle to Uranus. It's making a sextile to Uranus. Uranus is a planet of finding solutions. It is kind of like our way of thinking outside of the box, of rebelling to create something that doesn't exist that is going to solve our problems, to create change, to disrupt the status quo of what's been happening so we can finally feel some sense of relief or release or freedom. And so that's really what this new moon is about. How are we going to fully express how we feel? By finding some way to create a sense of change in our life to feel more free, to feel like can finally be ourselves. So if you've had some relationships or relationship dynamics that have been repetitive or toxic and kind of keeping you stuck in old cycles, the sextile to Uranus at this moon is asking you to make some changes to those relationships to finally feel like you have some breathing room so you can finally express your authentic self with somebody who can actually sit and listen and take it in and who is a valid person to have a relationship with. I'm going to get more into that for each of the individual signs, but this sextile to Uranus feels very positive. So while there is kind of a lot going on in the sky in general in terms of relationships, money, and self-confidence, this Uranus energy asking us to shake things up, make different decisions, completely disrupt something in our life that's been heading on a path that needs to alter. That is the answer. That is the medicine and the remedy within the astrology right now. This new moon is also making a trine to Neptune. So this trine to Neptune is going to make this healing process a little bit easier. It's going to give us basically more universal and spiritual support throughout this process. So if you're looking for divine timing or divine signals or the universe kind of speaking back to you, this is a moon where you're going to feel like you're finally getting some kind of response from the universe if that's something that you normally tuned into. It's also a really great time to express yourself through art and creativity and anything where you feel like you can process emotion in a really cathartic way. So Neptune is that perfect energy, not only for spiritual expression, but artistic expression. So kind of leaning into those areas are going to help uplift you at this time. There's a really wide orb happening with Pluto and a Pluto opposition. So it's a 7-degree orb. We're probably not going to be feeling it that much, but since the Venus opposition to Pluto happened somewhat recently, I did want to bring this in and say that I do see some residual intensity from recent experiences regarding relationships, regarding money, or regarding self-worth, kind of filtering into this current experience. So I do feel like some of the kind of like childhood shadows that come up around those areas of our life can still be at the forefront, while I don't see them being like necessarily new situations or new realizations. I feel like it's more of the residual of what was just happening. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, so that's pretty much what's going on for the moon itself. Now I'm going to talk about what's happening in the rest of the sky as far as astrology, and then I'll get into some cards that I pulled for this. So we are also experiencing Mercury in Gemini making a trine to Jupiter retrograde in Pisces. So Mercury in Gemini is in its home sign. It loves to be there. Jupiter in Pisces loves to be there. They're both really strong in their element. The only thing wrong here is that Jupiter is retrograde. So a lot of this growth and advancement that we're currently working on with Jupiter is going to be very internal. Those abundance and the blessings that we normally see when Jupiter is direct are going to be kind of on hold until Jupiter does go direct again. Not that you won't receive any abundance or blessings, but that they're kind of trickling out now and not full on pouring out, because a lot of what's happening right now is internal manifestations, internal changes, internal growth. And so that's what Jupiter retrograde does. So I feel like Mercury making a trine to Jupiter is us being more optimistic. It's us feeling like, okay, I can see long term now. I can see how much I've evolved. I can look back in the past and give myself credit for how I've changed, how I've healed, how I've grown. But then we have Mercury also making a square to Neptune. So it's like, even though we can kind of see into the future and we feel more optimistic about it and we can see how far we've come, we also have this element of ourselves where there's still a lack of clarity. We're still not exactly sure where we're going. It's like we have a general idea, we're feeling excited, but when we try to like get down into the details of what is my life right now? Who am I going to be with? What is my relationship with myself going to be? How is my money going to evolve? It's like those things are not fully within our grasp. So even though we can have that excitement and that long-term vision, it's that long-term vision is unclear, or we don't feel like it's tangible. We don't have all of the information yet. We haven't fully come out of this hazy chapter. Like, we haven't fully integrated these lessons. We're still in this process of absorbing it and trying to understand it. So things might not feel like they're totally clear. So if you have this kind of weird relationship with someone, and you're trying to end it, or you're not sure where you guys stand, like that's the kind of energy. Like, okay, there's some relief. Like, you guys maybe made a decision. If this is about a relationship, maybe you made a decision to end or change the relationship or not pursue something or whatever. You had a conversation. But then with the Neptune influence, it's like, it's not really done yet. It's like, it's not solidified. It's not super clear where you stand with this person, but you have a general idea of where you guys are going and you feel like it's better than where it was before. But maybe it's like you're not healed yet, or there's some aspect of that still needs to be fully seen later on. So just kind of keep that in mind. Some of the big stuff that's happening is that we're going to have Mars and Venus aligning in the sky and making a conjunction. So Mars and Venus are very different energies. Venus is the planet of harmony and unity, and Mars is the planet of separation and of war. And so when we bring these two things in combination, it can be honestly this very intensified sexual experience. So we might have a lot more desire nature at this time. We might desire to be in relationship with people. We might want to have more sex with people. We might want to be around people in this really like strong, intense way than we normally do. Kind of like an almost animalistic drive to pursue relationships, or a drive to pursue financial abundance within ourselves, or financial abundance in general, or peace within ourselves. If we're working on a relationship with ourselves, it's like we have this fiery masculine flame kind of driving this desire for the feminine here, the uniting and the harmony. What this can also do is kind of lead to maybe some more struggles in relationships and fights and things like this, especially because Venus and Mars is opposing Saturn in the sky. So it's not like we have this desire and we're given free reign to go out and pursue what we want. At the end of the day, Saturn is there kind of blocking us and saying, okay, well, if you want to make progress with this, you first have to revisit all of this from the past. You have to address these weird habits that you have that you've been stuck in, or you have to overcome this problem first before you can have the green light to go ahead and like be with who you want or do what you want. It's like, it's hard. There's obstacles, there's delays, there's a sense of so much effort needing to be made, and it feels frustrated because our energy is being blocked. Like Mars is our energy, so we have this energy behind us to unite, to be with people, to have sex, to work on our money relationship, our relationship with ourselves. But it's like every time we try to take a step forward, there's like this roadblock that just doesn't allow us to keep on that path. So that can be a little bit frustrating at this time. But the good news is that Venus and Mars is making a square to Uranus. Again, squares are not the most positive, but just the fact that it's touching Uranus here is a good sign, especially because this moon is making a sextile to Uranus. What this means to me is that the solution to these things is creating some sense of freedom or change or disruption to your current cycle. And it's going to feel probably like a loss. It's probably going to feel negative. It's probably going to feel like something is either being taken from you or it's harder to process than it normally is because it's a square. So anytime there's a square to Uranus, it's like, it's not change that you're necessarily sitting down and really wanting to make that change. Maybe deep inside, you know that's the change that's best for you, but it's like on the outside, you also feel like you want to be with someone and maybe you don't want to have a breakup, or you want to spend that money and you don't want to sit there and budget all day. Like there's some aspect there that kind of feels like you're dragging your feet with this a little bit. But that square, if you do put that effort in to make those changes, to disrupt the status quo of where things have been going, that train that's headed down the track, if you disrupt that, it's going to truly manifest in a positive way for you and have a ripple effect onto the rest of your year. Venus and Mars is also making a trine to Chiron, so I do feel like it's through this change, through these decisions, and through facing these relationships with people or facing your relationship with yourself or with money, it's through that experience that you're going to have that deeper healing, that you're going to let go of some of those past patterns that you've been repeating since childhood. So that's really what came up with Venus opposed Pluto, was childhood patterns started to come up in relationships. We started to default to wanting to close down, to not open up. And now it's saying this is our chance to heal that by kind of creating a rift, by exploding what once was, by taking a detour, by creating this massive change. We can start to rewire and rewrite history so that it doesn't just repeat itself on this in this cyclical way. So it's true healing is allowed to happen when we're doing this. And lastly, we have Saturn making a square to Uranus. This has been ongoing throughout the entire year. It's going to keep on going. So I don't really want to talk too much about it, but it's basically saying that we're just making massive, massive changes in our lives, and they might feel like they're coming a little bit slower than we'd like and a little bit more frustrating than we would like because Saturn is involved. But just know that you're steadily making progress, and this year is really where we're starting to lay down those big changes in our lives and into our internal selves. And then next year, I think we're going to start to see more results from them. So I wanted to show some cards that I pulled. So First, I pulled this card, the ever unfolding rose, cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. This is really important. I feel like a lot of times it can feel like these negative relationship situations or money situations or self-worth situations are happening to us. We feel like we are victim to some of these people. I mean, if it's a lot of it is imbalances in relationships, honestly. That was occurring in the weeks prior to this, that we can feel frustrated about, like, why am I always giving, or why am I not receiving? It doesn't have to just be relationships, but just any area of your life where you feel like, God, I'm giving so much and I'm just not getting back what I think I should be getting back. And I feel like what this is saying is this is a very prime situation to help illustrate what you deserve, and to stop falling into patterns or falling into relationships with people that don't give back what you put in. It's not happening to you, it's literally happening for you. You're encountering these challenging situations and people to help you realize your worth, so that from now on, you can really stand up for yourself, hold those boundaries, take your power back, and start to attract the things that only match your level of giving and your vibration. I also pulled a potential card, so I feel like this is kind of going on the back of that, saying that all of this is happening to build you up to your highest potential. If you didn't have these more challenging relationships and circumstances and everything was just easy going, it's like there's not enough friction to help you grow, which is Jupiter retrograde. Grow inside, grow within yourself to reach a deeper and higher potential. So this is kind of forming us into the people that we're meant to be. I also pulled these two cards together, which is the wisdom and focus card. And I really feel like this is us being called to really address where our energy is going with this focus card. You know, what are you focusing your time, thoughts, and energy on? Because the last moon that we had was a Capricorn full moon, which was asking us to grow something, which was asking us to put effort into something. And so I think that is continuing on here with this focus card. Don't give up. Keep up that endurance towards building whatever you're trying to go for, whether that's a business, a relationship, a move, whatever it is you're trying to bring into your life to create change. Keep your focus on the prize and not on what's being lost, but what's being gained by creating more freedom in your life, by releasing things that aren't in alignment with you. And the wisdom card, I feel like, is just telling you to view this perspective to view all this from a higher perspective. Really try to put on your thinking caps and have the perspective of your future self or a really wise elder. They're not going to get so caught up in the details of the emotional experience that's happening right now. They're not going to get stuck in the stories. They're going to think about where this is taking them, why this is necessary, why this happened. Really allowing yourself to reflect in a wise and self-compassionate way is going to be important. And I feel like this Five of Pentacles is really illustrating kind of what we're experiencing emotionally at this time. These people are left out in the cold. They feel like they're not getting their needs met. They aren't being satisfied in their relationships or in some area of their life. And they're just feeling a little bit emotionally frustrated. And I feel like that's how a lot of us are feeling right now with different areas of our life. We're feeling like this sense of disappointment or, like not being fully fulfilled. Like we can start to get some breadcrumbs and some things coming into our life, but the breadcrumbs aren't enough for these people. They feel like they're still frustrated with the situation that they're in. And I feel like that is where we kind of are, especially in relationships right now. And to me, the next card, the Hanged One, is really this Uranus energy about creating a massive shift. This can either be in our life or in our perspective. So there needs to be some kind of shift to who we are or to what we think or to what we do. We need to turn our life upside down and shake out all of the loose change from our pockets, because it's just dead weight that is not helping us. So for all of us, there's some elements of our life that's that loose change that's constantly like jingling in our pockets, reminding us that we need to do something about it, but we just don't want to take it out. We just don't want to get rid of it because it is money at the end of the day. but it's just weighing you down. It's unnecessary. So even if this relationship, this job, or this thing that you're enjoying feels good, or you want to hold on to it because you see some value in it, just know that it's chump change, and the universe is trying to shake that out of your pockets to give you, hundreds and hundreds of dollars and not just quarters. But you have to first make room in your life and in your pockets to receive that money to be able to do that. And that's why I feel like I pulled this Four of Pentacles card. This is us not wanting to release that change. Literally the change, I meant like with the money in your pockets, but literally like releasing something. Like all of us are trying to hold on to something that we no longer need to hold on to. If it's a relationship with someone, a hookup, a connection, something in regards to finances. I mean, that's the very obvious one with Four of Pentacles. Is desiring to hold on to those finances so that you feel the sense of security when there is no sense of security. You create your sense of security. So holding on to this thing is only deterring the blessings that want to come in for you. And this new moon in Cancer is about releasing things, allowing yourself to create space and liberation in your life to bring in new things, and allowing yourself to feel and grieve what's happening. Because whenever you release something, there's some aspect of grief that also accompanies that. So if you're trying to hold on to it so you don't feel the grief, you're really just delaying your blessings, delaying the healing process, and you're not helping yourself. So let go of whatever that thing is. Allow yourself to move on, and then move into the phase 2 of your life, which is about planning ahead. And this is what I feel like Mercury making that trine to Jupiter is saying is it's a great time to plan ahead. It's a great time to look into the future. It's okay if you don't have full clarity with that square to Neptune. You don't need full clarity to get started. You don't need full clarity to start journaling, to get an idea of what you want. So if you did lose a relationship, if you did let that go, now get really clear on what you want to come in its place. Who does that person need to be to satisfy you? How do you need to be in the relationship to be fulfilled? Get super clear in that planning process to understand what it takes. And then the very last card we have is the Strength card, which I feel like is really just telling us that the sun will shine again, but in the meantime, it's going to take our inner resilience and our strength to endure this next couple of weeks, to move through these challenging situations, to try to endure this Five of Pentacles feeling, but just know that when we come out on the other side, things are going to be much better. So I think the Strength card is really about that, like seeing the light at the end of tunnel, knowing that things are going to improve, and just giving yourself the opportunity to believe that things will improve. So that is what I'm seeing for this new moon in Cancer. And now I'm going to go into all of the zodiac signs. If you are enjoying this so far, please like and subscribe. And if you comment down below, I just want to say thank you so much, because those comments, they mean the world to me, you guys. I read every single one and they touch my heart so deeply. And I just wanted to say thank you in advance if you are commenting. All right, and lastly, we have Pisces Rising. So for you guys, Pisces, this new moon in Cancer happening at 18 degrees is in your 5th house of romance, of honestly, like more social enjoyment. I feel like the 5th house is where we have a lot more like focus on our pleasure and our joy and creating things that bring us that pleasure and joy. You got the Queen of Pentacles. Okay. You guys also have the 8 of Wands. I'm definitely seeing some movement happening for you guys. The 8 of Wands is kind of giving me like travel vibes, because the 5th house sometimes is associated with people traveling, more like vacation, not travel necessarily. But the 8 of Wands is kind of like this fast movement. And yeah, you guys also have this new moon making a sextile to Uranus in the 3rd house. So you might be moving somewhere fast. I don't know where it is, but yeah, I feel like one of the things that's coming through for me is like movement, change, busyness. And it could be a change in your like thoughts and your mindset, and I do think that's part of this. But I also feel like on the external level, there's change happening in your life, like a lot of busyness. But with the Uranus, it's like you need to change your busyness. Like you're changing something in the things that you do day to day, and not like the 6th house where it's like routines, but it's like I feel like it's more like responsibilities. Like maybe you have new things coming onto your plate, or you're communicating with new people in a new way, or you are literally moving locations or traveling like that. I definitely get like the movement travel energy of like busyness. and like a shift in your busyness. So like either you weren't busy before and now you are, or like it's a new type of busy, or what you're doing is different to keep you busy, if that makes sense. Like there is some shift there, depends on your personal circumstance. um yeah, very interesting. Having a new moon in the fifth house, like I said, helps us pursue those pleasures. So I feel like maybe these things could be intertwined in that now that you're trying to pursue something that really brings you joy, whether this is like dating a new person, whether this is traveling, whether it's starting like pursuing your hobbies, or starting a new hobby, or trying to create something that you've never created before that feels really exciting, that is going to create that change in like your busyness. You know what I'm saying? Like you might have to move, or you might have to travel for this thing that you want to do. And I feel like I'm getting this like flurry of energy with this Eight of Wands card. This new moon is also making a trine to Neptune in the first house. So I feel like it's going to start improving your relationship with yourself. And I think that's why I pulled the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands, which is showing me an internal stability starting to come. More confidence, more independence. That was the first card here at the Queen of Pentacles. This is a card of being alone, of being independent, self-reliant, and knowing that you can take care of yourself. And then after you reach that point, you have the Eight of Wands, where you're like, okay, now that I can take care of all this shit on my own, now I'm going to start off this new project or this new thing that's going to feel really exciting, keep me really busy, and you're going to step into more confidence with this Queen of Wands. Once you start doing that new thing, you're going to be like, okay, yeah, I excel at this, or I love this, and it's making me feel like my higher self. It's making me feel like my best self. And you got the Page of Wands, you guys. So I feel like the Queen and Page of Wands is kind of saying that there is a new beginning happening here. I feel like the Queen of Wands is you like getting an inkling of your higher self, and the Page of Wands is you wanting to travel to meet that person, your higher self, like you wanting to take that journey, you wanting to try those new things, to start to feel like you're the person that you want to be. Like I'm sensing like a long journey through these sand dunes, or through this desert here. It's like you guys are being asked to go on this long journey to pursue this creative venture, or this passion project, or this new way of being that is more confident and more sure of yourself. Like I feel like a lot of this is like an inward journey, but through things that bring you joy and bring you pleasure. You guys also have Mercury in Gemini in your fourth house, and it's making a trine to Jupiter retrograde in your first house. So Jupiter in your first house is really beautiful in the sense that it's giving you more opportunities in your life to up level. And that's really what I feel like is happening, is this journey to internal up leveling. I do feel like you are just kind of starting it. It's like a journey to your confidence, a journey to fully believing in yourself as a person, and knowing that you got this, whatever comes your way. And I feel like this Queen of Pentacles, this independent energy, you starting off this way is very important, because it's basically you knowing that you have your own back throughout all of this. And then from there, you having your own back, you feeling like you can handle things on your own. And then from there, it's like you're on this fast moving journey towards your greater confidence, towards believing in yourself. Because I feel like being able to do things and being independent doesn't mean that you're always very confident as a person. It's specifically, I feel like it's on a venture, like that you want to be more confident in some area of your life, but also just in general, like as a person. Okay, so as I mentioned, you have Mercury in Gemini. Oh yeah, so yeah, I feel like the confidence is like Jupiter is helping you expand in that confidence and in that sense of self. And Mercury in the fourth house is giving you support from your family. This is your loved ones. This is the people that you surround yourself with, that allow you to be your most authentic self, your most vulnerable self. And I feel like you communicating with them, you spending time with them is helping you become more confident. I also think, though, with Mercury in the fourth, it's helping you better understand your emotional nature, so that you can become more confident and grow as a person, by understanding like what your needs are, how you take care of yourself, how you nurture yourself. And as I said that, I pulled a patterns card, understanding what patterns you're carrying over into your relationships with people, into your work environment. What emotional patterns. I feel like Mercury in the fourth is helping you analyze intellectually and kind of take a unbiased, like backseat view of how you, like what emotional patterns you are carrying over from childhood. And that is making a trine to Jupiter in the first, saying that as you recognize that, as you gain awareness of that, Jupiter's wisdom is going to help you resolve any of those patterns, or it's going to help you learn and grow from those patterns so you're not just blindly and unconsciously repeating them without any awareness. I don't know that you're going to resolve all of them right now, because with this Page of Wands ending, I feel like this is just getting started. And I feel like Jupiter is going to help you gain the wisdom and knowledge of it and experience of it, but not maybe fully give you the end game. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to fully break the patterns right away, but I feel like that's what's starting to happen at this point. Mercury's also making a square to Neptune in the first, so I feel like there can still be some parts of yourself where you don't have clarity about your life, you don't have clarity about your direction, and that can kind of be one of the things that eats away at your self-assurance and your confidence. And I think that's why I pulled this assurance card, because there's a need for you to work on your self-assurance, to believe in yourself and your path, even when you don't really know where you're going. So there are going to be times in life where we're moving through the darkness, we don't have the light, and we have to trust ourselves in our independence and rely on ourselves that whatever choices that we're making are the right choices, that whatever path we're going down is the right path. We have to believe in ourselves in order to achieve what we truly want. Because if we're doubting ourselves every step of the way just because we can't see clearly where we're going, it's going to keep us from arriving there. It's going to make that journey much, much slower. So what this is saying is that even though you don't have that clear vision, even though sometimes you might doubt your choices, or you might doubt where you're going, or you don't know where you're going exactly, to still be assured, to still have self-assurance and believe in yourself, because wherever you're going, whatever decisions you're making is the right path. Those are the right steps, and you will get there. And you will get there so much faster if you're confident and you believe in yourself. And that's what I feel like you're working on right now. I also pulled the Fortune card, which to me is telling me you will arrive there. You will reach this state where, with Lakshmi, where you feel the sense of abundance in your life, where you feel a sense of fulfillment, that you're getting the things that you deserve finally. And so I feel like that's at the end of the journey for you. And you just have to believe and trust all along the way. You guys also have Venus and Mars in Leo in the 6th house. So Venus is conjunct Mars. So this can bring a lot of energy to your daily routines. It can also bring a lot of energy to your workplace and kind of telling you to focus a lot on that, or your health. Like, so maybe you're trying like a lot of new exercise routines, or maybe you have a lot more going on at work and you feel energized to complete those work projects, or maybe you want to start adopting these new habits and get into just a healthier lifestyle in general. And I feel like you're motivated to do that. But with Saturn moving through your 12th house, I still feel like there are a lot of shadow sides of yourself that are actually leading to self-sabotage. So even though you desire to make these changes, there's still part of yourself that's like, well, I could also just like smoke weed and chill on the couch. Or, well, I could also just eat takeout and ice cream and not like cook dinner for myself. There is some aspect here of self-sabotage that's like blocking you. And you have the opportunity to have a balance between the two. You can self-sabotage a little bit, but then also kind of have your routine a little bit. And that's, I think, the goal here with an opposition. It's not just really have one or the other, because that can be challenging, but to create more of a balance and just use Saturn in the 12th as a time to create more isolation, to create more time alone where you can process things or meditate or just fully unplug and relax, and not slip into the shadow side of Saturn in the 12th, which can be about feeling insecure, feeling lonely, and wanting to self-sabotage. So utilizing that energy in a more positive way and creating a balance with that and your productivity and your new habits and these new things that you want to integrate. So not just having one or the other, but having full rest mode and also having full productivity mode, or whatever you're trying to add to your day, so that you can create that balance and not just expect yourself to be like this perfect person all the time. You guys also have Venus and Mars making a square to Uranus in the third house. So I feel like as you guys are starting to adjust these elements of your routine, it's going to shift your mindset and the way that you communicate with yourself. And it's going to help you feel more optimistic as a person, or it's literally just going to kind of rewire or rewrite your typical thought patterns. So I feel like that's probably what these patterns are about, is not only your emotional patterns from your childhood, but also patterns from like your way of thinking. These stories that we run on repeat about who we are, about what we deserve, about how good or bad we are at certain things. And I feel like those things are going to become they're going to shift. They're going to have like a radical shift in a direction based off of your ability to like change or improve your routines and your health and that type of thing. I also think they go hand in hand. So as you change your thoughts, your routine and everything like that that you're trying to integrate is going to improve. And then likewise, it's the reverse. The reverse is true. So I feel like you guys are just gonna kind of go into more of a success spiral when you start to make these changes. Of course, squares are opportunities for growth, and we have the ability to change for ourselves, and we have the ability to not change if we don't want to. And so you have the option. Wow, transformation, things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. That's exactly what I was saying. Like I feel like you guys are really like having a total shift in mindset, having a total rewrite of your thought patterns. And I think that's what this is saying, is you're having that deep transformation from the inside out based off of your thoughts, and that will extend into your actions with your routines and habits. That will fill into your confidence with this Page of Wands. And even though you might not know exactly where you're going, you're breaking those old patterns, and at some point you're just going to trust and rely on yourself and be confident in yourself and arrive at this fortune card where you didn't know where you're going the whole way, but you're so glad that you kept to it and that you believed in yourself because you were able to achieve the things that you wanted. So that seems very, very positive, Pisces. If you enjoy this, please like and comment down below. I love reading your comments. And please subscribe. If you're interested in learning about astrology, I have an entire astrology course that's amazing. It's very in-depth. I highly recommend it. And it's only $20 a month if you join the membership, and you can cancel at any time. You can join using the link in the description box below. It's called the North Node Society. I hope that you guys have such a beautiful day, and I can't wait to see you in a week or two. Bye!